Welcome to today's episode of the Here for Cheer podcast. I'm your host, Megan Gomarlo, and I'm so grateful that you're here tuning in with us. Today's episode is going to kind of cover the tips and tricks of heading into comp season. In cheerleading, we're all kind of getting started, and especially in all-star cheerleading. We're about to head to our first event of the season here at Northern Lights, and I know a lot of teams across the country have already attended their first event or are just about getting ready to. And I'm going to hopefully give you some tips and tricks, parents and athletes, that will help you have a great first event or as you continue on your journey of competition that you can get some great takeaways to help make it the best experience possible for you, for your child, for your gym, for everybody involved. First thing first is wear the gear. Parents, represent your gym, represent your team. Wear the crazy t-shirts and the sweatshirts, and dads, spray your hair with glitter. Bring the funny sign and the noisemakers, and like be all in supporting your kids and just showing them how proud you are of them and how proud you are of your program. Help with that camaraderie, with that team spirit. It really makes a big difference and goes so far, and it makes it more fun too, and the kids love it. So they love when you're decked out in silly gear and you're just representing your program, representing your kid. Get that t-shirt that has their picture on it that they weren't expecting. Embarrass your kiddo a little bit and just make that experience fun. Being on time. This is a huge one. Please, parents, it's so important just for the stress level of your kid, your gym owner, their teammates. It's the timeline of comp is very specific. So coaches are planning to get your athletes there in enough time to kind of get warmed up, go through team rituals, listen to music, do some walkthroughs, head into warmups, and there's a whole system. There's a system in place that they've been practicing in the gym to make sure that it feels the same when we go to competition. So, being on time is essential. Parents, make sure you leave time for bathroom breaks, for traffic, for a flat tire, for getting into the parking garage. Just all of those things, walking to the venue. Leave time for that. And then when they're on time, it just starts the day and really sets your kid up for a success. I always feel so bad for the parent that's running in, trying to throw shoes on their child, ripping out curlers, getting bows in their head. You can see mom stressed. You can see the kid is stressed. As a gym owner, I'm not going to add any more stress to you, but I know that there's just going to be stress happening, like we're going to say, it's all good. Let's go. Let's just get her going. But you're going to be able to see it on that kid's face. You're going to be able to see it on the coaches and the teammates. So just kind of allowing time to get there is super important. Save seats for the other families. Sit together, rally, show everybody at this competition that you're from, your gym for Northern Lights for us, that you're from Northern Lights and you're proud to be there, that we are one unit. We are we over me. We are one family. And that breeds and bleeds into your athletes as well and helps them to understand the importance of the program first, the team second, the athlete third. And that is when organizations are their best self, is when we're able to kind of sacrifice that me for the we and be all in for the betterment of the program. And so yeah, save seats, save the section, tell everybody, hey, we're sitting in section 101, and get everybody all together. Help new parents along, share tips and tricks. Help guide them through the day. Offer to help in different ways if they're worried about the hair, if they're worried about, what to remember to bring. Just really be that great person that everybody can count on. When your team takes the floor and they're out there for the first time, put your phones down. There is nothing worse than just silence and phones watching a routine happen. I really try to spill it to my parents that there is subjectivity in our sport. And if I walked into, downtown Boston and I saw a street performer and there was two people just recording it, or even 10 people just with cameras out, and then I saw another street performer and there was 50 people with hands up, cheering, hooting, hollering, yelling things, so excited, engaged, I would automatically assume that the one with the crowd, excited and loud, was better. So, set your kids up for success. When they're waiting to come on the floor, chant out your, whatever the chant is for your gym. For us, we're yelling NL, AS. We're getting so hyped for the kids so that they can feel that energy. They can feel the support from the crowd. I never want my athletes to run out and have there just be crickets and phones. So for us, we designate one staff member to video all routines, and we make sure that that's put up on an unlisted YouTube for our parents to have access to look at later, for the athletes to use. And we, make it mandatory that parents have phones down, hands up. They are clapping, they are cheering. We also really tell our parents the secret sauce of cheering before the skill happens, not just when it happens. So leading into the skill, like I want parents going crazy. I'm turning around and let's go, get everybody loud. And it's so true that when the athletes come off the floor, when they have a great crowd, they'll say it. They'll be like, I could feel the crowd. Like it felt so good out there. The energy was amazing. That's where we can really help these kids be successful. Another kind of piece to that is that they put in so much for this one 2 minute and 30-second routine. Your kid has trained since May, most likely, has been working on this, on working on their craft, been in the gym, learning choreography, doing the reps. They know the sacrifices that you've made as a parent for them to be able to be a part of this sport. They are, getting in a car and driving 2 hours and staying in a hotel. And then they only get on, Saturday, 2 minutes and 30 seconds to do what they've worked so hard for. In my opinion, your athletes and every athlete in the world deserves to feel like Morgan Wallen taking the stage. They deserve to feel like $1,000,000. They deserve to feel like their best self, and they deserve to feel the crowd behind them, to feel like they're at a concert and, like we just can't wait to see them. So clapping, cheering, hooting, hollering, be those people that put your phones down and put your hands up. When you're at an event, like if it's not already something that you need to do and that your gym owner is requiring you to stay to some of the other teams to support them, stay for teams in your program, like stay and cheer on somebody else, cheer on another team from your gym. Try to make sure that you can kind of sandwich it that maybe you can't stay for the whole day because it is a really long day, but getting there to watch the team before your team competes from your program and then the team after, teaching that kind of all in for the betterment of, again, your program is just, it feels good to be a part of those kind of cultures and to be a part of those teams. As parents too, like not just your athlete showing up for the other teams in the gym, you as well, clapping as loud for somebody else's kid as you do your own. As a mom, as a parent, man, that hits big. And it means a lot to have other people in your village and in your corner cheering on your team as much as anybody else. So I think that's really important as well. Remembering too, you guys, that you represent not just yourself, when you're being rude to the person selling tickets or the lady in the nacho line, you're representing your program as a whole. And you're representing the people that came before you and the people that are going to come after you. So make sure, moms and dads, that you are being that class act and representing, what you want your program and your child to be remembered as. And that just means being kind, being polite, cheering for other teams. I've said it and I'll say it again that we want to go against teams when they are our best, they are their best, and we are our best. And I think that's a really healthy, competitive spirit to have. So it's okay to cheer on another team and to be excited for another team that comes off the floor and to say to even, another parent standing there like, oh my gosh, you're from this gym, like, wow, like your teams are so good and they look great this season. Put some good out in the world, help share goodness, positivity, and your kiddo sees that. Your kid sees it, and then they become that kind of person as well. So remembering that you represent them. It's just the start. Like whether you competed once or you're getting ready for your second event or your first event of the season is long, and we are not supposed to be, summit ready, worlds ready, all-star worlds ready by December. Would that be amazing? Yes, we would love that. But give yourself some time to grow in your divisions. Give your athletes some time to grow in their roles. You're just getting started, and we're going to continue to develop and work and grow throughout the season. As a gym owner, I can tell you that first event of the season, just get me on the score sheet. Like let me see how our choreography is scoring, how our sections are looking. Let me get that feedback from judges. And then we're back to the drawing board and we're hard at work to make the adjustments, make the changes, to continue to work on the section so that we climb and we grow and we build to get to our end of the season event. So, give your athlete grace, give the teams grace. Some teams, if you have multiple teams in your program, like somebody's going to have the best day ever. They're going to come out and have an amazing performance and everything's going to hit really great and we're going to be so happy. And another team is most likely maybe going to have a harder day. And that is okay. That is sport. Everyone will have their day. So like as a parent, remembering that and teaching your kiddo that like, hey, you guys went out there, you did your best. Talk honestly about what we can do moving forward. If something wasn't great or like your child is like, timing was off and blah, blah, blah. Not only teaching them, well, tell me one good thing that went on in the routine, because there's got to be something good. It's never all bad. So, wow, but the dance looked great. Or, yeah, that stunt was a little shaky today and it looked like you guys, weren't as confident in that section, but your tumbling was awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's the first time you've ever thrown level 3 skills in a routine. And like, I'm so proud. I love watching you out there. Remember that kind of feedback goes a really long way, not coaching your child or saying like, well, your jumps weren't good today. Those kind of things are not helpful for your kid's mindset and for them to be able to love our sport and to want to go out there and do what they love truly in their authentic self. So make sure your feedback is really positive. Another thing that you should not do, parents, is place blame on a child or on a coach. Like you are just creating this garden of negative that nobody wants in their program or in their gym. Instead, if Susie had a hard day, like, man, say, wow, yeah, Susie had a hard day and that's hard and I feel so bad, but I'm sure she'll get back in the gym and you'll get to work and she'll look better next time. And that's what it's all about. Parents, 1,000%, your child is going to mess up at some point. They are going to make a mistake. They are going to touch down in a tumbling pass that because they weren't used to the spring of that floor. They are going to forget a motion or they are going to have a stunt come down that they were a part of that stunt group. And the lesson that you teach them in that moment to not put blame and to not be mean and to not, oh, well, we didn't get a summit bid because of Becky today. Like that kind of stuff is so toxic. Because your kid's going to be in those shoes one day and you do not want other grown adults and other people pointing fingers and being really mean and negative. I know you've heard me say this before as well, and I will say it all day, every day. No child signs up for cheerleading and goes to comp on the day of competition and says, I really hope I mess up in front of everyone. Like, that would be sweet. If, I messed up and my parents are upset, my coaches are upset, my teammates are upset, I let people down. No kid signs up for that. Every kid truly wants to go out there and be the best for their team. And sometimes, nerves will get the best of them, or sometimes things just go wrong. And, we get that bite of humble pie, like, hey, we need to get to work. We were assuming that we didn't need to work as hard and that things were just going to fall into place for us. But this is like our humble pie that we got some work to do. We got to get in the gym. We got to get into open gyms or into lessons or, getting in reps with our stunt groups. And that's what, again, this sport is all about. Like you want the highs and the lows. There is no better season or feeling than a team that's the underdog or that has had a rough start. And then they finally, peak and have their greatest routine of the season. That you want to cry tears of joy for them because you know how hard they've been working. Those are the things that we love about sport. And so just remember that. So give yourself grace of the season. The team that you are today in December is not the team that you're going to be in May. You're going to continue to get better and to improve. So remembering that and talking to your kids about that. And then again, just that growth mindset and those controllables. Talk to your kids about the controllables, about that because something did go wrong, you saw them not give up and hit the next section and nail the next section. And you're so proud of that. So really just help develop your kiddo to see the good, to find things that they did well. It's okay to know things that like they want to improve on, but you don't just want them always thinking negatively about their performance. You want them to start to find the good and to be able to tell you something great that they did out there on the floor. When it comes down to your placements, remembering again, it's just cheerleading at the end of the day, and there is a little bit of subjectivity. So if you're not called where you thought you should be called, still clap for everybody. Clap for every team, and know that you're going to look at that score sheet and you're going to get back and your coaches are going to get back into it and make the adjustments to help you to be successful later on, and just remember parents that for everybody, because I was a team once and a gym owner once that just not last place was really exciting. I mean, we've come so far as a program and we're really proud of that. And that we're known as being a very competitive gym. But back in the day, just getting into top 10 was something that, like, our parents were happy and crying about and, like, so happy and so proud of, and our kids were so proud of. There were days that we just wanted to break into top 3, and that was, like, a big moment. There's gonna be teams that have never won 1st or never won 2nd or never won 3rd, so just remember that and celebrate everybody, be proud and happy of kids that you don't know their story, and you don't know what's come before for them. Take a lot of pictures, parents soak in these moments. They go by so fast. So take pictures. Athletes, let your mom take the pictures. Let mom get a picture of you in your uniform before comp day. Let mom get a picture of you, at the end with your friends, with your siblings. This is what we hold on to. Like, as a parent, I want every moment and every memory to be able to look back on and cherish later on. And we take our pictures because we're so proud of you. So let your mom take those pictures and have those moments. And also, moms, remember that on the day that you're getting ready, your kids are not themselves. They are stressed the day of comp. And so when they are being little, gremlins the morning of competition and, they need their specific drink and they're like their hair never looks right when you're putting their hair up or their bow or they're being short with you and they're not being as grateful and as kind as you know that you want them to be. Just remember that they're under a lot of stress and, they're carrying a lot of weight that, again, they get to go out there for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's it. It's not a full game. They don't get a timeout. They don't get a halftime to like repump up. They get that one day, one score, and then, they get to come back the next day for day 2. And um, the way that you talk to them in those moments will help them be able to come back on day 2 with no fear. So just remember those pieces, but cherish it. Cherish the car rides, cherish the time away, the memories that you're making, in the car, like I said, or at the hotel room or running around at the pool. Um, all of this stuff is stuff that you're gonna miss. I promise you, you are gonna miss these days. Right now, when you're in the thick of it, it's a lot, and I know you're giving so much, mom and dad, to allow your kid to be a part of this. You're, giving up your weekends, and you are being those people that are wearing the gear and supporting the mission, and we see you, and we appreciate you as gym owners, and, yeah, just cherish this time and be so grateful that you have these memories together, and athletes, same with you, give yourself grace as you head into competition season, and, um, know that one event does not define you, one time on the floor does not define you, and just the way you react to that is what's gonna be the bigger piece. Remember to be a great teammate, be the kind of teammate that you would want. Remember to be your own biggest cheerleader, and remember that, again, like I said, with your parents, that the season is a long one. You've got a long way to go to have those moments that you're chasing for, and if you're not there yet, don't give up. Stay at it, and I promise your time and your moment will come. So I hope that these tips and tricks will kind of help you ease into your competitive season, or if you already have gotten started, there'll be something that you can take away to make that experience a little bit more enjoyable. And just know that, you know, we appreciate you. The parents that get it, the parents that are doing and buying into all of this stuff, it means so much to us. It allows us as gym owners to do our job better. It allows your babies to have the best experience possible within our sport. And, we appreciate you and we see you. Again, we see you and we love you and you're helping to make the All-Star world a better place. So good luck this season. I can't wait to see you out and at different events. And please come and say hi. If you are at an event and we're there, Northern Lights, we're going to be at Cheersport this year for our high travel. We're going to be at One Up. Come see us, come talk to me, and know how much your support of this podcast and this kind of project of love means to me. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again soon.